I said you're putting a failure like Doc Rivers with a failure of Embiid and Simmons, and you're telling them, go and be successful. Any child would know that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Yes, people, another edition of Knightz and Roundtable Discussions where we discuss all sports all the time. Got my guys, The Truth and Mr. KA with me. How are we doing, people?
We're good here, man. We're good. Missed you guys.
I'm waiting to get in. I can't. I'm rubbing my hands. Where's my flowers, guys? I told you, bring my flowers. Bring my flowers to the meeting. KA, where's my flowers?
Mate, I've
No
always
flowers?
said Bucks in the finals.
Bruv. Okay, let's carry on because I'm going to get there.
People, it's been a while.
I know he's talking about my other prediction, but let's see. Let's get to that point. Don't worry.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've been on. It's all my fault. Man's having war with a certain media conglomerate, bruv. so I've been on a hiatus at the moment. But yes, we are back, and people, it is back. NBA talk is back after, bruv. When was it?
Imagine we come back with NBA talk of all things, you know. Freaking it.
Yeah, well, I can't remember the last one was.
I swear it was January.
The last one was trade deadline.
But then
So February.
We talked about the playoffs.
March.
Yeah. But
it was like ages ago.
It
was
ages
more
ago.
recent.
But yeah, people, it is back. We're going to be discussing everything NBA. We're going to be talking about the conference semifinals, and we're also going to be talking about game one in the conference finals in the West. But as usual, before we start, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Make sure to share.
Thumbs ups.
Yep. You can get it out there, and also make sure to join our social media pages as well. Links will be in the description. But I'm not going to waste any more time. Listen, it's been a madness in the NBA in these conference semifinals in the East. It's actually good to be talking about the East for once because it's always West.
Yeah.
But we've had some drama in the East. We're going to have to start with a big one. I know The Truth is itching to talk about a certain individual, but we're going to hold fire because we have to talk about the Bucks versus the Nets. We have to get into that first.
Game 7.
Game 7, 7-game series. Bucks coming out on top, 115 to 111 after overtime. I mean, Giannis dropping 40, Middleton dropping 23, KD dropping 48. And they couldn't get over the line, and the Bucks go into the conference finals, knocking out the Nets. Truth, gonna come to you first. For the Nets, right? We're gonna talk about obviously the injuries, Kyrie, James Harden, but for the Nets, losing this, what does it mean for them? Losing the conference semifinals, considering that we all thought they were going to win the chip this season.
Look, I was, along with everybody, saying this was championship or bust season. But hindsight is a beautiful thing.
I wasn't saying that.
It was championship or bust.
Go back to the video. I said.
The reason, I know you weren't saying it, but it was championship or bust. But the reason why I've changed on it is because of the way the season has gone for all teams. In terms of injury, we cannot escape the fact that, Nets were struggling badly with injuries. KD was out for long periods. Harden was overworked in the season because he was covering for Kyrie and KD. And when it came to the end, he got injured and he was cropped. He clearly wasn't fit. Apparently, he's got a serious hamstring strain. And him being back yesterday was just, he was playing on actual injury, and you can tell, you can see it. I think he's gonna have to have surgery on it because he played in it. So I just can't escape the injury fear, and that is what's making me saying they survived this season. Because of that, it's not so much of a big loss to them, because I think they can run it back next season easily. It's not like anyone's going anywhere next season. They got Dinwiddie, I think his contract's up, so I think he's got a decision to make. So I don't know what he's going to do in the off season. But yeah, they're gonna run it back next season if everyone's fit. We'll see. But it's not so much of a negative this year for me, and I've changed my mind on it.
Surprises me, to be honest.
I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head. That Truth.
Go for it, Mr. K. Tell us.
Coming from you, Truth. The way that you were saying with your chest all these statements in the previous video, and the way you're gonna talk with your chest later on,
I can admit that I'm wrong, though.
You should be giving it to the Nets, because you said championship or bust. I said
I know, but look at where the season's gone.
That would be happy for them. But everyone's been injured.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
every team has had at least 2-3 starters injured, so you can't complain.
But that's what I'm saying.
Their role players flopped hard. Joe Harris, you've been going on about him.
Yeah, you got to take the L on Joe Harris.
Joe Harris, mate. What was he doing, man?
I said,
Truth.
I said the goal, the key to Nets winning is going to be Joe Harris keeping up his form. He didn't keep up his form, and then he lost it.
Then give it to him. Give it to him then. You're giving him a pass.
Injuries.
They're giving him a pass.
Injuries.
Everyone had injuries. And then also, if you gave Danny Green a hard time last year, apologize now. Joe Harris flopped.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I'll tell you why. Because Danny Green always had LeBron.
Joe Harris had KD. Joe Harris had KD. He had Harden. He had Kyrie.
KD's assist. No, what are you talking about? They were injured at all periods of time. Look, the main focus of the Nets was their big three all playing. The point is that those three require so much attention that leaves Harris free. Guess what? One of them out, there's a little bit more attention than Harris. He doesn't get the same free shots that he always gets. So it's not a surprise that he was shooting bricks.
He was getting open shots. He was getting open shots. Especially in that game 7. Man, he was ready. He was already doing a pandemic P. He wasn't ready.
He was already off form.
That's what the whole playoff series. Yeah, the whole playoff series. He's been terrible.
But that's what I'm saying. So but they needed their big three. I'm not gonna give it to him. I'm a LeBron fan. You don't think I want to give KD hell? You don't think I want to give Kyrie hell? I want to give Harden hell. I love KD, yeah. Yeah. But he needs his critics as well. Why? Listen to this. No, the only reason why I say that, because if you're gonna ever give LeBron a hard time, you kind of have to give the same energy to KD, even though we saw he was tired. But that's those guys, though. But because KD was 2-0, he started this series with a 2-game lead, and they let the Bucks come back to beat them. He drops a 2-0 lead. Did that, everyone will be vilifying him. It's true. So it's true. I love KD. He started at my OKC team, so I still have love for KD. Yeah, I still love him, but you have to give it. Good point, KA. Good point, KA. A little bit of the critics. It's been such a long series here. It's been such a long series that I actually forgot they were 2-0 up. It went so deep that I forgot they were 2-0 up. But we were saying that with them being 2-0 up, we was like, the Bucks couldn't afford to lose the third, or else it'll be getting swept. Yeah. So it's funny how much has changed. Carry on, Mr. K. So you have to obviously Bucks. You give your props to Bucks because Giannis balled out ever since that going 2-0 down. Yeah, he balled out. Him and Middleton. Don't forget Middleton. And Middleton. Drew Holiday as well. Middleton had a poor game yesterday, guys. That's the joke. Middleton was actually poor at the. But he did come clutch though. He did come clutch. He still got 23 and 10 in that game. I know, but you played what 46 minutes. Yeah. And it was like 5 and 20 or something. So but as I was saying, man, with the Nets, you do have to give them a bit of a hard time. You can't just. But you said it wasn't championship or bust though, so why? No, I said conference finals. I said they had to win the conference. So even that, in my estimate, where I wasn't giving them such a hard level to achieve, they still didn't make it. They didn't make the conference finals. Yeah, but this is the thing though. I can't really give it because I know with their full team, they probably beat the Bucks. Yeah.
Of course.
I know it, and that's the one thing that's it. If they had their full team and they lost the Bucks, trust me, I'll be on here giving them what I'm gonna give Doc Rivers later. But because they didn't have that full
for every team, though. You can say that for every team.
Nah, but that's
everyone.
K, come on. Like,
I agree with you about yeah. Even if
what every
Kyrie,
team though?
Sorry,
what every team?
Well, Suns have beat hobbled team, like, bro, because it's Suns, they beat Lakers. They had AD. Bron came in with a bad ankle.
Yeah, but we know that though.
AD. No, I'm just saying though that you can use the same excuse for other teams.
No, what I'm saying is that if Nets beat the Bucks and get there, that's the only thing.
I agree. Even if they had one of KD, Harden or Kyrie, they would beat
everyone knows that Lakers beats Nets, beat Suns with the full team. I don't see wherever else it applies, to be honest.
Oh, they beat Jazz they didn't start off with Connolly. Mitchell playing on a hurt ankle as well.
Did Connolly ever come back?
Yeah, he did last game,
but he wasn't. He didn't make a difference because he wasn't.
I don't believe that Jazz beats Clippers regardless, because they had a perfect opportunity and they, regardless of being crooked, they blew it. They blew it badly because there was no Kawhi.
You can say that about Nets. You can say that about the Nets because they had chances to kind of extend their leads. Joe Harris just makes. Sorry, I'm going on about Joe Harris. If he makes a couple of those threes, it's a different game.
Of course.
Of course.
But we're saying that Nets would normally beat this Bucks side with a full team. There's no escaping that. As I said, I'm not sure Jazz beat Clippers Jazz beat Clippers regardless if they both had full teams.
Well, then that goes on to say that how many times did Nets really play with a full team over the season?
I know, and that's the thing. That's why
you can't really argue that. Like they can't really. But I don't want to go on and harp on about the same point. But
yeah,
it's like
I can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I don't have it in me to give anything to that. And as I said, I want to. I really.
I'm disappointed in you, truth, man. I'm disappointed in you. Because you already the way you talk about super teams, yeah, and you're like, no, I'm not giving them their props. You've got a superstar team, blah blah blah. I'm disappointed at you. I'm still disappointed in you.
You're talking about KD has already done an impossible task. He has come back from a whole year off and balling at an MVP level. That's already impossible. It's already for me to harp on even. It's too much. Like KD's already gone above and beyond. Like who's going to do that? Come back from an Achilles injury and play like the way he does. Like I've actually got a little bit more respect for him as a basketball player than I previously did.
I think the thing here, and 100% right, truth. The fact that KD was out for so long, came back and he was literally shelling in the regular season. Obviously, before he got hurt, he was just like he was getting 25 minimum in his sleep. Obviously, balled out in the playoffs, especially in this series up against Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday, and he was basically on his own, right? and he is still balling. And yes, they blew a 2-0 lead, and you can point to those things, but without having Kyrie and Harden, that was a very impossible task. We're gonna get onto Steve Nash, but it was an impossible task to try and beat them all. And if it wasn't for his foot being on the line, they would have won.
That's mad.
It's fine margins.
Yeah.
It is fine margins, and obviously he was absolutely shattered.
That makes Great Allen's shot in the NBA in the Miami Heat win even better. Because the way he made sure he was outside that free.
Well, I'm telling you, like it gave me more respect for clutch shots. Like because as you said, there are fine margins, but you're going.
I'm telling you, but
if this was LeBron, they'd be like, he ain't clutch as MJ. Blah 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 blah.
That's the joke, though. That is the double standard. They'll be saying MJ's foot ain't that big, so he would have. They would have killed LeBron for that, just for having his toe on the line, But
LeBron is trying to chase the number one of all time. Of course, you're gonna get scrutinized to that minuscule level.
He made comments about being number one.
KD's nah. Until KD wins it on his own or with one other person, nah. Like obviously MJ did it on his own. Kobe did it on his own. And obviously what LeBron did, he didn't do it on his own, but what LeBron did was come back against a super team and win. That's why he's in the conversation.
Oh, yeah,
but KD's not there yet.
Kobe and MJ on their own, yeah.
No. Obviously, hold on. What I'm saying,
MJ.
Kobe and MJ, in terms of doing it on their own, are there. But obviously, Kobe's not above LeBron. I know that. But LeBron obviously coming back from being however down to be a Golden State. That's why he's in that bracket. KD hasn't done that yet because he was on a super team.
So winning with the Lakers isn't winning it on his own.
What do you mean? Who? LeBron didn't win it on his own. He had AD. And Michael never had Pippen, yeah?
No, Rodman.
No.
All the other players.
I'm not even counting Rodman, I'm counting the main side because everyone said the first three was Michael on his own when it blatantly wasn't. His team was as much of a super team as anything you're gonna have today.
No, it wasn't. No,
let's not get distracted too much.
Let's not go.
It's not the GOAT debate yet. It's not the GOAT debate.
Let's not get distracted too much, but that was a little bit wild, TJ. A little bit wild.
But I will get on to the next, and here's the reason why. Right, and it's a little bit to tie in with KD, and it's what we just said. KD's gone and won it with a super team. Yeah. He's gone and created another super team, and now he has experienced what everyone else at some point has experienced, right? And whether it be your partners in crime are injured or you haven't got those partners in crime, right? And unfortunately for him, he didn't get over the line, and this is why I have an issue with KD, because I'm saying to myself, if it was you and Kyrie, I could give you your flowers. Not with this team, not with adding Harden to it, right? And you didn't get over the line when your two guys were out. So questions have to be asked on you. And I know he balled out. But as Mr.
Hard,
K
isn't it? It's hard saying criticize him because he balled out.
It is. It's hard to criticize him.
And you saw how tired he was.
I have to criticize him because if it was LeBron with this team, he'd be getting ridiculed for having these players on this team and trying to do it. Do you know what I mean? So I have to get onto him a little bit, right, in terms of that. But I blame James Harden for this.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
He is a curse.
Oh, my days.
He's a curse. Imagine this man, right? Have you not seen James Harden's injury record when it comes to the playoffs? Right? It's disgusting.
Enlighten us.
What do you mean?
Bruv, at Houston, how many times did you play injured? In the playoffs, in the conference finals. Right? And now he's cropped again in this one. And I understand you lot were saying about the workload that he had with because KD and Kyrie out and blah, 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 blah. But it's a reoccurring theme with James Harden. He's cursed. He's not meant to win a ring. It's fine. How many other good players have gone without winning rings? He went and chased it, and now he hasn't got one. He's never going to get one.
Wow.
Bro, this is the Lord saying to you, even when you tried to join a super team, I made it so you couldn't win a ring. Yeah? I guarantee you next season, if they trade James Harden, they go and win the chip. How much do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet?
From what I've seen this season, they have enough assets to trade to get more around those big three.
They need to improve the role players. They have to improve the role players.
See, when I say improve, I don't think they have to improve the role players because next season, all right, obviously the truth mentioned about Dinwiddie, but if he does stay on, they've got Dinwiddie, they've got DeAndre Jordan, they've got Joe Harris. What's the other one? Is it Green? Is he still there? Is the Green guy still there?
Yeah, Jeff Green.
Yeah, is he still there?
Yeah, he played in the playoffs, but I don't know what he's going to do next year.
You got Jeff Green there. I think Blake Griffin signs.
I don't know if Blake Griffin's going to stay on. He was on a.
He was on a short one, is it? Short term.
Yeah, I think it was a short term contract.
Yeah. So I don't think it's so much improving the role players. I think it's something that Mr. K mentioned earlier that we're now going to get into, bro. Mr. K, Steve Nash. How much blame does he have to take for what has happened in the playoffs for the Nets.
You know what? Yeah, that picture of Nash hugging Durant. I don't know if it was after Game 5 or 6. This guy had his life flash before his eyes, and he knew that Durant just literally saved his bacon because he was about to get exposed. But like, people are already talking about it. His inexperience showed throughout the playoffs.
Badly.
It showed, and I didn't even realize this at the time. Sorry, Truth.
You're gone.
But like, he had an opportunity. I think I saw another analyst say on one of the other bigger networks say it. He had a chance to call. He could have chose to call a timeout before and run a play. Give KD a breather, something. And my biggest thing, which irks me so much, James Harden actually he demanded to play, even though he knew he was injured. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why they lost.
Yeah.
Because of how badly he was playing and how much that affected the team. And Nash, sit him. Why? This guy's coming to the game injured. Not sitting, but like, take him out for 5 minutes. Take him out for a couple here and there. He let him play 52 minutes, 48 minutes. Why?
What's even more damning?
Bricks. You jacking up bricks the whole game.
He's a curse.
What's even more damning compared to what you're saying?
Sorry?
They played 7 people in a game that lasted. Of course they're gonna, like, of course they gas on what you said. But if they sat him out, who's coming in? Who's coming in if they sat out Harden?
That's why I said they need better role players. That's why I said they need better role players.
That's the biggest joke. If they did sit out Harden, who was coming in? I don't even know the answer.
They could have finged them off. But what should have happened, that Nash should have used more of his role players. His players were playing on fumes at the end of that game. It was like they were on fumes. They could barely defend. You see Giannis just backing at Harden. Like, even though Giannis played 40...
He was tired as well.
40-something minutes. He played less time. But that little bit of energy more than he had done KD at the end allowed him to back him up because he got rested. He got a little tiny bit of rest. So, yeah, man, Nash doesn't have a lot to answer for. And I want him to stay on next season because as long as he stays there, then at least let's don't have a chance. Exactly.
Everyone else has a chance, bro. Because Steve Nash be calling out some 3-5-2s and that, bro. That's what he be doing. He used to jump back on, as Tooth said. He used to jump back on doing punditry for football. His basketball coaching career is not going nowhere. But, we have to give some time.
I think he could still have potential, but it's just at the moment the job's too big.
Yeah, of course, way too big.
He's learning on the job. He's still learning. That's why. So
we have to give some time to the Bucks because obviously they came from 2-0 down to win the series 4-3, get into the conference finals. No one was expected. Well, Mr. KA expected them to do it, but I think when we saw the draw and saw that they were playing the Nets, a lot of people thought not it's going to be a walkover, but a lot of people thought Nets were going to go through. So, Truth, how much credit has to go to the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis in the way in which they've overcome this 3-headed monster in the Nets?
A huge amount. Not so much who they played because they know what's in front of them. Just them keeping their composure, going 2-0 down, going toe-to-toe, and kind of defeating their own selves because in their head they easily could have said, Giannis could have easily said himself, they're better than us, not going to be our year again. I need to go to freaking Golden State next year or something. But he kept his head down and he balled out as well. He went toe-to-toe with KD. I don't like what people were saying in terms of Giannis should be guarding KD. This series was a perfect example of why sometimes you may not want your best players guarding the other best players because your energies, you can't be on both ends of the floor nowadays. You just can't. It's too sapping. It saps your energy as it is. So now a huge amount of credit to the coach, and hopefully they have enough in the tank for the finals, the conference finals.
That's true, because Mr. K, we did have this conversation about them, and we said, is them acquiring Drew Holiday enough? Is it enough along with Middleton and Giannis to see them into at least the conference finals? And it's proven that. I mean, I know Chris Middleton got 23, but could have got more, and Giannis dropped 40. But I think the game before that, I think Middleton dropped 38 and Giannis dropped 30 in that game. And then Drew Holiday's popped up with 15 points in more of certain games. So they worked hard, and their players came through for them at the right times.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't actually sure. I was waiting for a question in there, but yeah, talking about the team, the players, they all stepped up, and they made some good additions. They had a change of mentality, because I think the old Bucks would have struggled a bit. They brought a bit of steel, a bit of mental fortitude to the team. Not Bucks. Tucker gave that edge, that roughness. He troubled, even though KD scored 40 plus on Tucker, but he made it hard. He made KD work for each and every one of them. And though players like Portis didn't play as much, he brought a bit of energy to the team, bit of strength, defense, and he allowed Giannis to not play. Remember last season, Giannis was playing like 52 minutes every game. But like with the new additions they had, Giannis was allowed to rest. And again, that's why you say the role players are important, because you need to be able to trust your role players when your big guys are sitting out. So the role players that they brought in this season, they made the right changes. They got better. Giannis became better mentally as well, because we're probably going to talk about it later on. Like a lot of players, it's not easy, like playing on that big stage, and that when the demons get in your head, it's not easy. And Giannis could have gone down this route, because his shooting was terrible. He's free throws, but over the last 3 years or so, he's worked on it, and it's still not the best, but it's enough that he doesn't always have to rely on driving to the lane. So
100%.
They got better as a team, and it wasn't easy. I wasn't surprised that they won, but I didn't think it was going to be easy for them. I knew Nets were going to give them a tough time, and I wouldn't have been surprised if they lost. So, but I'll give them their flowers for winning, and for Giannis stepping up, for the team stepping up, and yeah, man, Bucks are a dangerous team, man.
Of course, and just finally from the two of you, when you look at who's left now, I know we haven't mentioned the other game, but when you look at who's left, would you say that the Bucks win that series?
They should win.
I think Bucks are favorite for the entire trip now, because I think
over the Clippers.
Yeah,
with Kawhi.
I think they destroyed Clippers in the regular season, and I think they not win. No, I think it was it 2-1? Can't remember what it is, but I think Bucks match up well against Clippers, because they got a good perimeter. Tucker's gonna give everyone a hard shot, and you know what's gonna happen to Pandemic Pete once he gets, that pressure put on him. They got no one to mark Giannis, so Drew Holiday as well. They got good guard. They got a solid all-round team for me. So yeah, I'm gonna put them as number one. And this may be this right here, Giannis going one-on-one with KD. It may actually be his calling card. This actually might be his time. LeBron won it at 28. Jordan won it at 28. KD won it. Was it 28? How old is he? 33, 5 years ago. Yeah, I think it was right. 27, 28. It's that age where a lot of the greats make their name, and this series might be where Giannis makes his name.
100%. I don't know about that one against Clippers, but we'll see what happens with the Bucks. But congratulations to the Bucks for getting through to the conference finals, and yes, they will.
The Atlanta Hawks.
They will be taking on the Atlanta Hawks.
Why is that, Mr. TJ?
Won their series 4-3. Another game 7, winning 103-9. Winning 103-96. Oh man. Truth.
Where are my flowers, guys? Forget about all my predictions. Forget about everything else. I predict a certain thing, and it hasn't come true because I can't put into place injuries and that kind of stuff. But one thing I've always I guaranteed it twice. Guys, go back and watch our old NBA videos. Throughout the entire thing, I have said the same thing. The same thing. Everything else has changed based on what's happening. But regardless, one thing has remained the same. I said, you're putting a failure like Doc Rivers with a failure of Embiid and Simmons, and you're telling them, go and be successful. Any child would know that's a disaster waiting to happen. Lo and behold, they lose to the fifth. Was it fifth seed? Were they fifth seed?
I think they were.
Yeah,
fifth or fourth seed. Fifth? No, they're fifth seed, but I think.
Yeah, I think it was fifth.
Yeah, fifth. They lost to the fifth seed Hawks with little Trae Young, Ice Trae, as Skip calls him, Mice Trae, 5'11", all of 5'11" Trae. We're talking about Ben Simmons being the best. One of the best defensive. I swear he was up for defensive player of the year.
Yeah, he was.
I swear he was talking about defensive player of the year. You know, and they go to, first of all, they got to 7 games with the Hawks. That's embarrassing as itself. But they lose game 7. Oh my gosh. Guys, where are my flowers? Can I please get that at least? KA.
Mate, I've messed up my lighting trying to like adjust everything to show you this t-shirt. Because I knew where you were going.
What haters? What haters when I'm speaking back?
Where was this vim? Where was this energy for next?
Where's
this energy and
because
vim?
because in the old videos I said the exact same thing. I never said they were gonna lose in the conference final. I never said they were going out first round. I said they are going out second round, like they always do. Like it's a given. Everything, the sun, the moon, Philly, Doc, failing, all guarantees.
Look.
What can you say? Like, there's nothing to say. There's literally nothing to say.
Listen, right? People, if you're new to us, the truth and
I'm getting
Doc
cold
Rivers
again. Put my hoodie
relationship.
back on.
The truth and Doc Rivers relationship is non-existent. And obviously Doc being the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, going out in the conference semi-finals as he did last year with the Clippers, doesn't bode well. I think his record is terrible. It's terrible, apart from obviously the chip that he won with the Boston Celtics with that super
team. Had to win. That he had to win. If he didn't win that, then he should have he would have left back then. He wouldn't have been allowed. And by the way, I'm sorry. I'm going on national. I'm going out to the public. I'm sorry, Pandemic. Sorry, Playoff P. I'm sorry, Playoff P. I'm sorry, Kawhi. I'm sorry, Ty Lue. All this time, I thought it was 50-50. The blame. I apologize. Doc Rivers was the issue last year. I'm sorry. I take it back. Unlike KA, I'm a man. I can admit when I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. It wasn't your fault. Doc Rivers is the main issue. I don't know what he's doing in the sport. When you go to the dictionary and see the word fraud, you see that.
All right, you're hopping on a bit now. Let's wrap it.
He deserves it. No, I'm sorry. Like I have to, because he deserves it. Because it's about time everyone sees what I've been seeing for the last few years. He's a fraud.
Listen, it doesn't look good, Mr. K, for Doc Rivers.
It doesn't.
Obviously, and because when he left the Clippers, there was a certain superstar that said that Doc was an issue at the Clippers, and now the Clippers are in the conference finals, and Doc's gone out in the conference semifinals. But so it doesn't look good for Doc. But
it doesn't.
Mr. K, everyone's talking about Game 7, 103-96. Shouldn't have gone 7 games. Philadelphia lost this in Game 5.
Yeah.
They lost this in Game 5 when they were 25 points ahead at the fourth quarter, and they threw it away and lost 109-106. Right? We have to point back to that game as when they lost it, because they go 3-2 up, I think, and they probably win it. because they would have destroyed the Hawks leading by that much.
Wait, you just say a Doc Rivers team go up and then win? Come on, you know better than that. You know better than that.
But we have to look at what it is. It's Philly against the Hawks, right? They should be winning that game. Can Doc Rivers stay at Philly after losing? Because it's not like they lost to the Nets or the Bucks. It's the Atlanta Hawks. Can Doc Rivers stay after losing this series and go again next season?
I think he can stay, but
and don't bring the guy over my other shoulder into it, because we're gonna get into him. Just focus on Doc.
Something drastic has to happen. There needs to be a big change, whether it is something to the roster. And I know they've made changes over the time, but I think Philly over the years, it's been trust the process. And I'll be honest, I've been caught up in that a little bit. And I've become a bit of a believer in the process. But we've trusted it now for this long and nothing's happened. We need to make changes. We need to make something just needs to happen. Whether it's you make changes to the starting lineup by making trades, whether we make changes to the head coach, to the coaching system, something needs to happen, because Doc Rivers has now, as you said, game 5, he had his critics at Clippers, and now he's doing it. He's done it again for the last few years at Philly. His coaching has been called into question when it comes in big game moments. People saying that he can't make the right adjustments, and he's proven it. Like in his in-game adjustments, have been like that game 5 blowout, where in terms of like the blowout of the lead, like who does that happen to? Like
criminal.
How does it happen? Yeah, it's criminal. So like, I'm not against giving Doc Rivers what he deserves, and he's made a lot of questionable decisions. Sometimes his lineups that he's played, taking players out at the wrong moment in time, the player that over your shoulder, like I would have played him a lot more, even though he's got his problems we're going to talk about. I would have played him a lot more, and I would have told him to buck up, like be aggressive, just do what you have to. Believe in anyway. We'll talk about that later. But like, I would have laid into him a bit more and like got him to play. So like his decision making needs to be called into question, and the GM at Philly, I'm not sure the person's name at the moment. I can't really think of it at the moment, but he needs to talk to at every level, go through the whole roster, the whole franchise, and make big decisions. And Doc has a lot to kind of speak up for and to held responsible for as well. But it's not entirely his fault. I can't. See, I was about to say I can't side with truth and say it's entirely his fault.
It's entirely his fault, man. It's entirely his fault.
And also,
I'm sorry.
Like, you're getting on to Embiid. Embiid, he's played MVP season, playing on a torn meniscus, a tear in his meniscus, and was still putting on. But he had no help. He didn't have enough help. Bryce Harris should do a lot better. He should do a lot better.
The reason I'm getting
that'll be a show that Simmons should be doing a lot better.
The reason I'm getting onto Embiid is because he is mentally a perennial loser. Mentally, yes, he may ball out, but he doesn't know how to lead a team. He's not
the sole leader of the team.
But he's a leader. He's the best player on the team, and he never even came close to leading that team. When you're looking around, when everyone is looking around,
leading a team. There's different ways of leading. He led with his performance.
No, that doesn't work.
He was aggressive. He showed heart in over the series. He fought. He showed heart.
He played. I'm not saying he's playing well. I'm just saying there's more to leading than just playing well. You have to. That's
what I just said.
Vocally,
there's more ways of leading. He showed heart. He led the team with his offense and defense.
Given his size,
getting into players' faces and like fighting with players, like he was putting it all out there.
So why did he not fight with his own team? As Shaq said, he would have knocked Ben Simmons out. And B should have done the same thing.
Mr. K, remember when Michael was talking about what he did? Yeah.
Exactly.
Players up.
Let's talk about the goal.
But you can't do that nowadays. Everybody, obviously, it's a different generation.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
They're soft.
Of course you can.
Listen.
But yeah, just to put a pin on it, I can't give Doc Rivers all the blame. Though I'm now over this series has now opened my eyes up that he deserves more critics more of a critique and more blame, but not the entire blame. 49%.
Man said 49%. Nah, listen. I agree. Doc Rivers deserves to take a lot. He has to take a lot of responsibility, and I'm not just talking about this series. I'm talking about his entire time at the Clippers, not getting to a conference finals. Right? He has a lot to answer to in terms of his coaching and what's going on, and he's had players. And as I said, you had Philly versus the Atlanta Hawks. This is the Atlanta Hawks that people were saying were going out in the first round. Now they're in the conference.
And their coach made adjustments.
Yeah.
Their coach made adjustments and switched on the tactics and obviously won the game.
Exactly. And the thing is, for me, is that I put Embiid in the same bracket as KD when I look at him. The guy actually balled out and he didn't do nothing. Game 1, 39-9. Game 2, 40-13. Game 3, 27-9. Game 4, 17-21. That was his worst. Game 5, that was definitely not his fault. Man got 37-13, bruv. He couldn't have done any more, even though they blew the lead.
And this is an injury-prone guy. He played all throughout the season the playoffs.
Game 6, 22-13, and obviously in Game 7 he got 31-11. So I can't get onto Embiid for what happened, even though I understand what the truth's saying. He's the leader of the team. He should be grabbing shirts and badding man up and blah 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 blah. But
not everyone is built like that. There's different ways of leading.
Yeah,
he's built like that though. Embiid is built like that.
He should have been badding man up because this con man, right? Over my shoulder. Listen, he is my new James Harden, right? This fraud, this criminal, right? Bro, I haven't got the words for him. Listen to this Batio's numbers.
My man Simmons,
Game 1, 17 and 10 assists. Cool. Game 2, 4.
Oh my God.
Game 3, 18 and 7 assists. Game 4, 11 and 12 rebounds. Game 5, 8. Game 6, 6. Game 7, 5. This guy in a 7-game series had 4 games in single digits. And he's supposed to be an all-star caliber player, right? Now, don't get me wrong, in Game 7, he did get 13 assists, but he got 5. He got 4 single-digit games in a Game 7, in a 7-game series against the Atlanta Hawks. Someone please answer that question as to why this guy's playing professional basketball.
Yeah, someone said about Australians as well. They were like, what Australians do you know that plays basketball?
I said it. What Australian ever played basketball? This guy is a chameleon, bruv. Right? Because he's stealing a living. How has this guy been playing basketball, bruv? And he can't shoot. How? Not even he can't shoot. The brethren didn't want to dunk, bruv, because he didn't want to get fouled. Like, how do you pass up so many opportunities? Bro, listen, who put up that stat saying he took 3 shots in the 4th quarter in 7 games? How do you take 3 shots? And obviously he wasn't shooting because he can't shoot. So he did 3 dunks or 3 layups in the 4th quarter in 7 games. 30% from the free throw. Shaq shot better from the free throw line. Yeah? And Shaq didn't have to dunk. Yeah?
Oh my days. It's actually so bad.
Bruv, this guy had 3 games back-to-back single digits. The last 3 games, 8, 6, and 5 points.
And this guy was the number 1 draft as well, you know. Even though the draft wasn't the best draft that out there in the last 10 years, but he's the number 1 draft. Oh my God.
Can I say something? Or can I say something
Yeah,
in his defense? In his defense,
that's all he can do is defend.
Now, in his defense, let's get back to the main culprit at hand.
Oh my days, man.
Which is Doc Rivers, yeah. Which is Doc Rivers. Listen, back 5 months ago, when this was a problem, when this was an issue, Doc Rivers said the words, Ben Simmons doesn't need to shoot for us to be successful. So you could imagine in training, they are not working on anything when it comes to Ben Simmons shooting because Doc Rivers said that he doesn't need to shoot.
Again, where was energy for the Nets? Because look at the wild statements that Kyrie came out. Oh, we don't need a coach. Blah blah blah. Like, come on, you can't say these things and then bring up the past of
Nash made them lose. So Nash was a coach
for Philly and not the Nets, man.
Look. Doc Rivers, yeah. Not Kyrie. Kyrie is an irresponsible player. We know his brain. He's a flipping flat earther. We can't take anything he says seriously. But Doc Rivers said the line, his point guard doesn't need to shoot for Philly to be successful. Well, he didn't shoot and they weren't successful. So let's get back to the guy at hand.
Do you know what? Simmons, yeah. He came into the league not being able to shoot.
Yeah.
But he had other attributes that made him the number one draft. Like he was aggressive. He could defend. He was explosive, like driving. But for some reason, because mentality, like
he didn't want to get fouled.
He needs to work. Yeah, that's it. He didn't want to go to the free throw line. He needs to work. He needs to go to see us. I know it was so bad. I nearly spat out my food when I saw him pass up that dunk.
Listen, when I tell you, I genuinely thought the ball slipped out of his hand. I thought the ball slipped out of his hand. That's why it went to him. When I saw man, bruv, listen, I said, you know what, yeah? Bruv, this guy, listen.
That's rock bottom. That was rock bottom for him. When he passed up that dunk, yeah.
Bruv, he's never coming back from that. That's it. Ben Simmons' career is over.
No, he can come back for it because obviously basketball goes around in cycles and that is they'll forget about him in 2-3 years.
Nah, how do you mentally come back?
In Philly though, I don't know if you can come back to it in Philly. I don't know.
This is what happened. The reason I think Shannon said it. They lost this series back in game 4 of the Wizards game.
Oh,
okay.
Against the Wizards. Because the Wizards were the first one to start doing it. That strategy, send him to the free throw line. Like someone else would be on the ball, they're gonna foul Simmons just for him to go to the free throw line. That's how bad it's become. They're like, forget everything. We're not gonna defend anyone but Simmons and send him to the free throw line. You cannot shoot 30% from the free throw line. I'm sorry,
Well, it actually progressively got, that's what I think is more criminal. They progressively got worse because he was in his head so much and the lights were too bright for him that I haven't got the stats in front of me, but it progressively got worse. Like he deteriorated because he was actually at his best. He wasn't the worst free throw shooter. He wasn't the worst shooter at free, but his player performance will tell you that he's the worst ever because his record was so poor.
Imagine,
so bruv, it was even said so much that he actually became paralyzed to doing anything else. Like he passed up so many opportunities to drive. Sorry, TJ, I know you're about to talk, but just to drive. You know when it's a fast break, and you know if I drive to the hoop to get a dunk, like it's a guaranteed because I'm either gonna get fouled or I'm gonna get. It's easy points. He'll be driving and then trying to see who's the trailing runner and pass it to them for a 3-point shot.
You know, it's funny. Like, he didn't want to take the +1. He didn't even want to take the +1. Forget, he didn't even want to at least score the 2 points.
And then what made it worse, the player that got fouled missed one, he made 1 of 2. So it was actually, he made even worse for...
Listen,
he made even the situation worse.
Listen,
any worse.
How are you the worst free throw shooter of all time and you're only 23 years old? How?
Like, he wasn't this bad coming into the league.
How do you take a record like that only being 3-4 years into the league?
Do you know how bad it is, yeah? We're even talking about back in the day when we had those guys doing the little grandma into the basket.
Hold on, we're talking about back in the day. Hold on, we're talking about back in the day where bigs were just bigs.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to do this. This guy's a point guard, bruv. He's a point guard.
Them,
the first two things you learn as a point guard is how to pass and how to shoot. The first thing in basketball you do is shoot. So how is this criminal got into the NBA? Bruv, he's infiltrated.
What is he doing in training? What is he doing in training? Because all of them are doing reps on
He's
shooting.
He's dunking.
But he didn't even want to do that. That's why it was so bizarre that he didn't even want to do the fundamental basics of basketball. But if I was,
this is why I blame Doc, because
no, this is why
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, he's your player. If I have a player that can't shoot, I do not come up with the line that he doesn't need to shoot. He would be in the lab every single day with a psychologist next to him, making sure that he is ready in time to, guess what? I don't even want you shooting 90%, 80%, 70%. Just give me 50%. No pressure. Just give me 50%. And that would be enough, because that way you won't be afraid to at least drive, because at least you'll get 50% of your shots from the free. Just give me 50%. He can't even do that as a coach. He said, no, Ben, it's all right. Let me put my arm around you. It's okay. And what would that lead to? A weak, fragile guy that was broken. He was hurt against Wizards when they first came with the strategy and was broken against the Hawks. And yeah, I think you guys said it. End of his career.
He's finished, bro.
But you know what? I get it. I don't blame Doc for saying that, because obviously at that time he's trying to back his players and his team, and Philly still had a winning season. Were they first? Sorry,
they were first.
They were top.
Yeah, about to say they were number one seed. Yeah, I was gonna say it, but then for some reason I doubted myself. They were number one seed, so they did that with Simmons having the same issues he had in the playoffs. But it's just that the stage got bigger in the playoffs, so he was more exposed.
But we know that.
We know everyone knows that, though.
We all know that.
That's why we always say regular season doesn't mean anything. You're just jostling position. But we know when the playoffs come in, and it's not his first time in the playoffs, right? But his fundamental issue is that you can't shoot. Mm-hmm. If you can't shoot, go play center. That's it. Go and play center.
But then that's part of the problem as well, because you can't tend to go play center. What's Joel Embiid gonna do? Because he started developing his shot because they had to play. Go on.
Mr. KA, as the truth said, he needs to go back down to the G League, right, and play, or take up surfing, because I know that's what they do in Australia. They surf. That's what you need. Get in the water. I guarantee you, put him in the water and see how quickly he swims and surfs. Yeah, that's what they need to do with this guy. Basketball's not for him. Listen, just like I can't swim, I won't get in the water. Basketball's not for him. He needs to stop it. Or what he needs to do, as what people are saying, they need to trade him elsewhere, and he needs to just have a whole bunch of shooters around him.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of shooters around him. Not even a whole bunch of shooters. And
but it's the same thing though. It will be the same thing. Everyone's just gonna foul him and say, "God." As long as he's point guard, he's just going to be fouled. They're not even gonna try to do anything apart from touch him and say, "Go to the free throw line." That's it.
Then maybe they could develop his game into a shooting guard then, and have someone else who could, like how at Trailblazers, obviously Thingy's the number one. CJ can bring up the ball. He can play point and run an offense.
We'll see what happens. Congratulations to the Atlanta Hawks, by the way. Trae Young and all them young bucks getting to conference finals. Unfortunately, we don't have much to say about you lot, but congratulations anyway. Good luck to the Bucks.
Give them their flowers, man. Kevin Huerter.
Oh no, that's what I said. Congratulations.
Ashtray didn't really even have a great game, but Huerter and Collins pulled them through.
Yeah, 100%.
And their coach made the adjustments.
We quickly need to move on to the West quickly. Conference finals, Suns and Clippers. Not something. The Clippers could possibly have been predicted to get to the conference finals, but not so much. The Suns. Suns obviously beating the Lakers 4-2. The champions, and then beating the conference finalists last season, Denver Nuggets, even though they didn't have Jamal Murray, but swept them. And Clippers, who did Clippers beat again? They beat the Jazz in the semis. Who did they beat in the first round? Mavericks, which is the game 7. And then obviously beating the Jazz in 6 without Kawhi. Suns go up 1-0 in the series, obviously played last night. D-Book with his first triple-double, 40, 13, and 11. Crazy. DeAndre Ayton dropping 20 as well. Playoff P for now. Dropped 34. Reggie Jackson dropped 24. In terms of this season, series, where do we see it going? I mean, the Suns, everyone says, every team that the Suns have played so far, they're like, oh, they're going to go out eventually. They're going to go out eventually. They're going to go out eventually. They've now found themselves in the conference finals and they're 1-0 up. Is it just their time now? With the way how D-Book's been balling, Ayton's been balling now, and obviously, hopefully, CP3's out with Corona right now, but if he comes back as well with his experience.
First of all, enough respect to what the Suns have done from last year in the bubble when they went 7-0.
They went unbeaten, didn't it?
Yeah. To where they are now. So enough respect. They've had to ride their luck, but it's like they've ridden their luck with, Lakers had an injury, huge injury thing. Nuggets, they didn't have Jamal Murray, but you still have to go out there and perform. And this is what I'm going to give to them. They've gone out there and performed because I didn't think that they were that good to even beat those teams without those star players. But credit to them, and we're at a stage now where obviously CP3 is missing. I hear Kawhi's injury isn't that bad, but if he plays on it and it twinges, then
it's finished.
He's finished. He's done. We know Kawhi and his injury with his knees. If he plays on it and it twinges, then he's out for this, and that gives. They have to be tentative with it, Clippers, and we know Booker's playing at a level now where people are actually starting to make the comparison between him and Mamba himself. He's got that ice in his veins that we're starting to see, and we've seen it throughout the last 2 series. So I couldn't tell you as of right now which way it's gonna go. If Kawhi was fully fit, I'd have my money on the
Clippers.
I have my money in the Clippers, especially now that I found out that Doc Rivers was a real problem. I'll have my money on them. But I'm not counting the Suns out, and a lot depends on CP3, especially away from home. Away from home, that's where CP3 is gonna shine, and they're so unlucky with him, innit? It's so unlucky.
But the guy, every time he gets somewhere, he gets injured, bruv. Don't like Houston, bruv. They ran Golden State twice close with him and the curse. Injury. CP3 and the curse, and then obviously CP3 goes and gets injured. So like he's so unfortunate. Obviously it's Rona this time. It's not injury, so hopefully he gets over that. And what is it? Game 3 or what? Game 4? Maybe
was it 10 days or 14 days?
I think it's 10 days.
If it's 10 days, then he'll be back in time for game 3.
Yeah.
Wait, did he have Rona? Did he test positive?
I think they just said COVID protocols. They didn't say whether he has it or not. They just said he's out due to COVID protocols.
What could have happened is he probably tested positive.
If he tested positive, that means he's out for 14, not 10 days.
Yeah, we're not sure. They haven't divulged the actual situation. They just said COVID protocols.
Oh, wait. So let me see. They said oh, no, he did test positive.
Okay.
Oh, so that means he's out for 14 days.
So we're looking at him potentially, like the Suns potentially having to get it to go to a game 6-7 for him to be able to play.
Yeah.
Which is a problem. Is a problem in a long series, especially if Kawhi were to come back in game 3, that would be and Clippers could get wins without him. That would be a problem for the Suns. But Mr. KA, in terms of the Clippers, I mean, obviously going out last season in the conference semis, in the conference finals this time, playoff P is performing. What's their prospects? What are we looking at? Do we think that Clippers can go all the way?
I think they can, but it's going to be hard. I know George Paul has turned himself back around again, and now he's Paul George again, and he's kind of shook off that pandemic P tag for now. But I still don't think it's enough without Kawhi. Like, because Reggie Jackson has stepped up. Some of the role players have stepped up a little bit, but again, I don't know if it's enough. But with CP3 being out, as we've just been speaking about, it's helped them. Because if he was there, I would say Suns straight away.
Yeah.
But with Suns out, because coming into the playoffs, I always said that if you had the chance to talk about, I had this in my notes that my one reservation with the Suns is their inexperience. As a team, even though they're a very well balanced team, and I love that about them, it's their inexperience. So I don't know if Booker can put up these 40-point triple-double games throughout this year for 3 more games, sorry. And go to Clippers and go to Staples Center and do that. Yeah, and do that.
I agree.
It's home ground. So that's it makes it quite hard, but I am gonna lean towards the Suns. I think I will lean towards the Suns doing it, because I think when it comes down to clutch moments, I think, as True said earlier on, Booker is stepping up. I was worried about him again coming in inexperienced, but he's stepping up. He showed glimpses of it throughout his career, and he's as of now, not just this series, he's showing that he can be that guy.
The one thing that Suns do have over the Clippers is that they've got a real natural big, dominating big in Ayton.
Yeah.
And
he gave us hell.
Yeah. And he's gonna be huge. He's gonna be huge for the Suns this series, especially with CP3 out. So yeah, I kind of, if I'm leaning to someone, I will lean just a bit to the Clippers, because I know Kawhi is definitely going to be back, and even if they're down 2-0, they prove that they're not out of it. They've been down 2-0 twice recently, in the last 2 series. So yeah, I'm gonna just give it to the Clippers as of right now.
I'm back in the Suns, because obviously Clippers, I don't want them winning any chip. But if Kawhi does come back and Kawhi's playing in Game 3, it's and CP3 doesn't come back in time, I can see it. I can see the Clippers doing it. But I have faith in D-Book and Ayton, and hopefully they can get the job done. But people, we gotta wrap up here. I mean, listen, this is why NBA talk can't be every once in a blue moon, because we love it and there's so much to talk about. What we've got to wrap up there. Want to say thank you very much to my guys, The Truth and Mr. KA. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Nice to be here, man. Nice to finally be back.
I'm telling you.
And I'm still disappointed in you, Truth, man, for like I said, man, that same energy, give it to the Nets. Anyway.
People, before we go, as usual, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up, and make sure to share, get it out there.
Man. Tell us your thoughts.
Coming up, we're gonna have a Euro talk, because we haven't spoken about the Euros. We're gonna get that up because I think the players got a couple of days off over Thursday and Friday, so we're gonna try and get something done for you then. Obviously NBA is going on, so we're gonna obviously preview the playoffs, and you'll get a lot more content coming out about that. Athletic season has started, so we definitely got to do some stuff on that. Obviously Novak won the French Open, Wimbledon's coming up, so you're going to be getting a lot more tennis content. Listen, there's just so much that's going on right now that we're gonna have to get into, but people, it's all coming out. So as we say, make sure to share, get it out there, tell a friend, and that is it from us, guys. So stay safe, as unfortunately we didn't come out. We're not free. It's not Freedom Day today. We got another 4 weeks before we're free, but make sure you stay safe out there, and we shall see you very, very soon. Peace.
Prayers to Simmons, man. Send your support.